just talked with Anne about mental health, and we just touched also the pandemic. And I would like to stress this for talking about some research made over the couple of years, figuring out something which is stressing our topic and giving us a bit more insights about that. So, mental health in a pandemic, what US surveys have found. The coronavirus pandemic has been associated with worsening mental health among people in the United States and around the world. In the US, the COVID-19 outbreak in early 2020 caused widespread lockdowns and disruptions in daily life while triggering a short but severe economic regression that resulted in widespread unemployment. 3 years later, Americans have largely returned to normal activities, but challenges with mental health remain and still do. Here's a look of what surveys by some very important and well-known centers and other organizations have found about Americans' mental health during the pandemic and afterwards. And these findings reflect a snapshot in one time, and it's possible that attitudes and experience may have changed since these surveys were fielded, but it's up on end of 2023 from the results. At least 4 in 10 US adults have experienced high level of psychological distress at some point during the pandemic. And for a high percentage of them, it still stays in end of 2023. Young adults are especially likely to have faced high levels of psychological distress. 58% of American ages 18 to 29 fall into this category based on their answers in some of surveys. Women are much more likely than men to have experienced high psychological distress, as are people in lower income households when compared with those in middle income or upper income households. In addition, roughly 2/3 of adults who have a disability or health condition that prevents them from participating fully in work, school, housework, or other activities have experienced a high level of distress since the pandemic and still ongoing. More than a third of high school students have reported mental health challenges during and after the pandemic until now. 37% of students at public and private high schools said their mental health was not good most or all of the time. That included roughly half of girls and about a quarter of boys. In these surveys, an even larger share of high school students, 44%, said that at some points during the previous 12 months, and since then until now, they had felt sad or hopeless almost every day for 2 or more weeks in a row, to the point where they had stopped doing some usual activities. Roughly 6 in 10 high school girls, 57% said this, and 31% of boys. So in all of these results, we see that the percentage of women or girls is much higher than for the boys and men. On both topics, high school students who identify themselves as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or other questioning were far more likely than heterosexual students to report negative experiences related to their mental health. Mental health tops on the list of worries that you as parents express about their kids' well-being, um, especially of parents with children younger than 18. And these survey 4 in 10 US parents said they're extremely off or very worried about their children struggling with anxiety or depression since COVID. That's greater than the share of parents who expressed high levels of concern or 7 other dangers asked about. It did not ask about parental worries in a specific context of the pandemic or afterwards. It's important to note that parental concerns about their kids struggling with anxiety and depression from themselves too. So, among parents of teenagers, roughly 3 in 10, so 28%, are extremely or very worried that their teens' use of social media could lead to problems with anxiety or depression. Parents of teen girls were more likely than parents of teen boys to be extremely or very worried about that. And it's interesting that, of course, looking back, many K-12 parents say the first year of the coronavirus pandemic had a negative effect on that parents' emotional health, and it stays until now. For some, it even got worse. For some, it stays. 48 said the first year of pandemic had a negative impact. 39 said it stays. So white parents and those from upper-income households were especially likely to say the first year of pandemic had a negative emotion, while around half of parents said the first year of the pandemic had a negative emotional impact of their kids, and it has affected. Of course, we can't put it straight one to one into other countries, but this is a tendency which is shown also in other countries, that the effects shown in the pandemic in 2020 ongoing is still occurring at some of these kids and their parents still, especially if they are suffering from long COVID. So if you want to read more of this, you can find more in the next days where we upload some information, background information about this. But after this survey, I would like to share with you a very sarcastic book, which I like because of that. But not only that, because it's Grumpy Cat, not at all. It's a small pocketbook, which you can take always in your bag, even also women with a very small bag. And it makes sense because if you don't want to read that much, you don't need to read that much because most of the pages look very easy. And there's just a word written on it, and the most word on it is no. And I would like to give you a small review about the book Grumpy Cat and then turn into reading. So Grumpy Cat, not at all everything you need to know. That adult is humorous and lighthearted book that perfectly captures the cynical charm of the intern's most famous feline. The book is filled with snarky comments, sarcastic life advice, and perfectly timed illustration of Grumpy Cat, who embodies the spirit of everyone who's ever felt slightly irritated with the word. So fans of the grumpy-faced cat will enjoy the witty humor and deadpan tone, making it a quick and enjoyable read for those seeking some comic relief. It is a perfect blend of fun, humor, and a touch of cynicism, then meant to entertain rather than enlighten. If you're a fan of quirky humor or simply need a laugh, this book is an easy pick-me-up. However, if you're looking for deep insights or a traditional narrative, that isn't a book for you. It's unapologetically irreverent, embracing the cat signature grumpiness in every sentence. A great choice for both cat readers and grumpy cat enthusiasts. The book is a funny reminder that it's okay to be grumpy sometimes, as long as you own it with style. So some background information, the Grumpy Cat franchise was developed by the owners of the real-life cat named Ternès. Grumpy Cat shot to fame through viral memes on social media, and her owners capitalized on the character's popularity, turning her into an internet sensation. With Grumpy's cat's grumpy appearance and deadpan expression, the character quickly became a beloved figure across platforms. The authors behind this book, along with a team of marketers and content creators, crafted the persona Grumpy Cat to appeal to the masses. The book is a collection of witty, sarcastic, and playful writing that reflects the humor fans expect from the meme sensation. The book taps into the massive global popularity of Grumpy Cat, who first appeared online in 2012. The cat's permanent frown made her a meme sensation, which led to viral fame across the internet. This book is part of a larger merchandising empire, including other books, calendars, and even a feature film. The unique background of the book isn't that it wasn't written by a single author, but rather developed as a product of the Grumpy Cat brand's marketing strategy. As part of the internet's meme culture, this book reflects a quirky, fast-paced humor that defines much of today's online entertainment. The idea behind it is to translate Grumpy Cat's persona from the screen into print, maintaining her iconic voice and tone. This book is a tongue-in-cheek guide to embracing life's grumpiest moments, delivered through the sarcastic and irreverent voice of Grumpy Cat. 7 tips from the book. Lower your expectations. That way, you will never be disappointed. Embrace grumpiness. There's no point in pretending to be happy all the time. Say no more often. It's liberating, and Grumpy Cat shows you how it's done. Sleep as much as possible. Nothing's more important than napping, especially when life is annoying. Stay skeptical. Always question the intentions of others. Find joy in sarcasm. Grumpy Cat demonstrates that sarcasm is a tool of survival. And ignore everyone. The less you engage, the less you have to deal with unnecessary drama. So I would like to give you some summaries with 5 quotes from the book. Here are 5 of the best quotes. And it is no deep wisdom, but instead embraces the spirit of doing the bare minimum with an attitude of detachment. First, happiness. I've heard of it, but I would pass. Thanks. Second, why said good morning when you can just say Third, people talk too much. Try ignoring them for once. Fourth, optimism is overrated. I prefer naps. And fifth, success is overrated. I'd rather sleep all day. So you see in which direction it goes. It is really a sarcastic and humorous collection of live advice from the internet's most famous grump. And it would shine through as she gives you her take on everything from relationships to social interactions. So I would like to step a little bit into this book, where I always said it's not a book where you have to read a lot. It is a book where you can watch a lot and laugh a lot, hopefully. So if I want to read the first pages, then it is done very easily. I just know. Have you ever experienced that on the one hand, you were engaged and want to say, yes, that's great. And I said, oh, I have to think about saying no a bit more. Maybe, yes. So it says, instead of a foreword, dedicated to the most useful word in the word, no. Saying yes is overrated. If you really want to get nothing done, just say one magic word. No. This book contains all of my least favorite things. Consider it your guide to everything you need to know. Why no? When you say yes, people smile, conversations keep going, you have to do something. When you say no, people frown. If you're lucky, conversations end. You have to do nothing. It is quiet. Winner? No. Now stop asking questions and take the know-it-all oath. I do solemnly swear to say no and nothing, but no to everything I see. So help me, Grumpy Cat. Positive thinking? No problem. Seeing the glass full solution. Completely empty. Bonus points if you blame someone else because you're grumpy. Butterflies, you see wonder of nature. Grumpy Cat says, I see a stupid flying bug showing off. I liked you better in the cocoon. Cooking? No. And it shows a funny face. Kiss the kick, go ahead, I dare you. So there are much more of these pages. Sunday, no, sports are on probably. I just remind myself that half the teams lose. Monday, everyone is miserable. Goal, make every day a Monday. Tuesday, not Monday. Wednesday, even further from Monday. Thursday, almost Friday. People seem hopeful. Ugh. And Friday, the worst. Saturday, I refuse to open my eyes on this day, but I assume it's terrible too. So there are a lot more where it's about saying no, different situation. For example, weddings, no. I know pronounce to you, boring and annoying. Or texting, no. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to spend my whole day and writing nonsense on WhatsApp. Hey there, friend. How are you? Hello. Are you okay? Oh no, what happened? No, leave me alone. I'm good. Okay. So Real Grumpy Cat gives some really hot advices also about history, where Grumpy Cat shows how you can be dressed in the best way to just say no without any words. So even if he was somebody who has a weapon in his hand or has something else in his hand to afraid be can stay away from other people. No is really the word Grumpy Cat loves. So in the end, of course, Grumpy Cat has everything to say no about. But I would like to share one last page with you before we go. Grumpy Cat is, as I said, it's a franchising and is not made at first to increase the mental health of others. But no to the word, spread the grump in 3 easy steps. Find something you don't like, put a no sticker on it, and repeat. And get bonus points if you hide and then throw things at people who stop to read your sticker. No, this is of course nonsense. But isn't it sometimes great to read a bit more nonsense in our world, what feels often so serious, so strong, so just honest in a negative way where we can't have fun and happiness? I think it's great to celebrate happiness also without having any reason for being happy. And this is, I think, what the grumpy cats can tell you. Grumpy cats can tell you that you sometimes don't need a reason for being happy, even if you say no. And it tells you that it's all about you. You don't need to say yes because you're a friendly person. It is much better for your friendliness and for your energy just to say no. And all the other sarcastic things, I think you can easily forget about that. It is important that you go into yourself, that you don't hesitate to get involved here, and that you know that your voice is valued, and together we can make a difference. So I thank you for being part of our community, and until next time, keep shining and empowering others with yes and no. Together we rise.